And welcome back to another battle. Did you like that intro? I hope you did. Cardrex made me it. It's pretty cool. So as you can see, we are up against another army. Maximum funds, maximum fun. I always wanted to say that. It sounded cooler in my head. So let's look over the army compositions. First, well, sadly enough, I'm learning to use new software, so I don't know if it'll appear on the screen or down below in the contact. But anyway, let us start with the Visigoth Kingdom. Sadly enough, I forgot the player's name, but it will show up at the end, so you'll know who you are. See here, we have some Germanic crossbows. A lot of them, actually. Like, they may be lightly armored, but a crossbow's a crossbow. These guys will tear through armored ranks. We have about 8 of them. Then we have Germanic Spearmasters. You can never go wrong with these guys. These guys are line holders. I know, I have to say it lower. Looks like we have about 10, maybe 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I must count wrong. Thracian Oathsworn. Pretty good charge unit. They're much like what they sound like. If you know who the Thracians are, then you gotta be afraid. A very small cavalry contingent. Some very noble Gothic Lancers, and you got a Cav, which is just heavy skirmishers. Aye. But the next we have the Sarrinids. They bring a much less army, mostly concentrated on the elephants. Some Saugeen warriors who are better armored than Dalamite elite warriors and Evan Mace. So armor-piercing damage. Royal Persian archers, pretty dangerous units to deal with. Lots of elephants with Saugeens. Some elite immortals for spear use, which is actually quite clever use of them. Saugeen camel riders. Saugeens were like a tribe that served them, these Sarrinids, and they were pretty good at what they did. Zahira Mortal Cavalry is skirmisher cav, and behind here we just have a lot more noble Germanic horsemen from the Visigoths. Now, let's start. The battle's pretty intense. My army is the Huns. You see I laid out my Lancers, all my guys here, and you see the Saugeens are coming in for an attack straight on a Hunnic position. As you can see, these guys were deployed beforehand in the battle. The Huns being completely caught off guard. Look at this. This is going to be a beautiful charge right here. Saugeens engage, the Huns head on, and the Huns disengage. But you see that that is not the only force. We have more Saugeen camel riders coming in. They're coming in from all flanks. Thankfully, my Huns are master of the horse, and they show no fear. I have units of them stacked up. But you'll see the unit compositions later, by the way. You see, I do have my chosen Uar warriors. We were playing this on max fun, so why not? Next, we have the Saxons. I deployed my army to guard the rear of the Saxon line and to act as flankers. I mean, like, look at this. This is heavy infantry army. Like, I don't understand why you would bring these guys. Why not just bring the biggest tier? But you make it up for an elite Saxon javelins. These guys will do a hell of a lot of damage to armored units. So you see, I got my archers here. I'm really just keeping them away from the battle that's unfolding. You see, pretty fierce. I got my Norics, which are like elite Hunnic horsemen. They are armed with axes. Can easily turn around and use it as an efficient pickaxe. But you see these Saugeen camel riders, they are tough nuts to crack. And even my Norics are struggling, but just due to sheer number and ferocity of the Norics, we are slowly winning. See more Uar, the Hunnic cavalry pins them down, and the infantry sweeps up, which is quite odd because normally the Huns would do the exact opposite. But anyway, you see here my mass cavalry wings engaging. Don't worry, this combat back here is pretty irrelevant. And you see this skirmishing, just trying to catch out units, but at this scale he's got way too many men. My targets are these elephants. I want to make them rout, hit the rear of the Visigoth lines. And you see I have hundreds of my horsemen just engaging. So this is really the sideshow. The main battle was fought out here for the time being. We see here my cavalry just really cleaning up. If I did psycho charges, I could have done more, but with this many units and this many attacks at once. Yeah, these Saugeens were meant to just weaken us, really. Plus, because they were already tied down, retreating was just not an option. Camels are not faster than horses, although they do have more endurance and can last longer in the desert. So, you see here, these Urars are fighting with blades, but they got a bit of a blunt end. That's just to have a bigger surface area. They're not meant for stabbing, they're meant for slicing. That's their blades. So we see here the Visigoths, seeing their allies failed assault, want to join in. And you see they're forming up their army. On the dunes above lies the Saxon host. Very cool. Just standing there waiting in the desert because Saxons are totally doing that stuff. I don't know the story behind this battle, so please forgive me. See here, I'm just really having off and on skirmishes, but these Persian immortals are heavily armored. My guys do get access to heavy shots, but they're pretty useless. We should be able to get a nice volley off on these Sagians, however. Tell me my guys at least have this. Yeah, they do have Parthian shots, so it means they can fire and move. But for whatever reason, we're just not landing enough blows. See, I do eventually order some charges. You know, just really hit the ranks whilst arrows fly in. These assaults were aimed at the Persians to give me a skirmisher advantage, and I was rapidly clicking to get the hell out of here. Because these are Avar Horde. And the Avars are lightly armored cavalry. They don't even, see, that just was ridiculous. You see, it did cost me 1 unit of Avars, but in return, I got my other kills. Just unable to keep up with the unrelenting assault of the Huns, whilst over here the main battle commences. The first few units of the, what's this? Looks like I sent some like Urars got caught out. I sent them like berserkers at times. They did well against the spearmen, apart from the hole they have a lot of javelins to go through. But as you can see here, the Saxon shield wall forming up on the other side. Those Saxons ain't afraid. They know what they're doing. Meanwhile, the Sarrinids, they're, I don't know. Like, my forces are scattered around. We're cleaning up the last pockets of resistance whilst I'm moving my men across the desert. Yes, they'll be tired, but I can rest them up behind the Saxon lines. Over here, I'm trying to get sniper shots off on these elephants, but these are armored Sarrinid war elephants. Well, Indian war elephants. Sarrinids did have Indian mercenaries. These elephants are essentially the ancient world tanks. Quite tough to beat. Look at his little cute eyes, though. Yes, I know, you're on YouTube now. Sorry, I'm just admiring the beauty of the elephant. Anyway, let's get back into battle. As you can see here, the off and on engagements. He only has 1 spear unit. And he should have been engaging with his cavalry, because they're quicker than spears. But you see, he doesn't really have to worry. These Zahari and Immortal cavalry can easily beat my Avars, because my Avars are lightly armored. They have excellent fire rate. They got everything else, but when it comes, let's just look here. Let's see. Armor is 20 against an armor of 32. They have better melee attack than my Avars, barely. But they got more health, which means they'll last longer. But anyway, the main battle has commenced. The Saxons have met the enemy. Of course, there's some awkward placement here and there, but the Saxons, Gefius, which are basically like their noble swordsmen, engage against the mighty Germanic spears. Now, this shouldn't be much of a match because spears hold the advantage. Well, swords hold the advantage over the spears. However, some Oathsworn were thrown in there, and they're really nasty on the charge. If I was them, I would move my Oathsworn through this gap, which appears what they're doing, but thankfully I do have a few Norics in the area. My chosen Uar launched their separate assault here. They will easily just massacre their way through. They got nerfed, so they're fine. Let's just watch the craziness of this battle unfold. As you can see here, we have Nords fighting with elephants, and these Phoracians are just waiting for the chance. But what's this? A surprise attack from the Saxons' heroic cavalrymen. Whilst over here, more and more engagements just picking off unit after unit of skirmishers trying to lend in fire, whilst also trying to detract the value of these elephants. Now, the thing about these elephants, you gotta really use them on the charge. Like, yeah, they're effective tanks, they'll get lots of kills, but their main ability is from their charge because of the weight, the armor. I mean, like, yeah, the guys on top will fire a few arrows, but eventually they'll run out. You want to aim at the angles. You want to use them as cavalry. They'll last longer. Whilst over here you see the Saxons and the Huns are just running rampant. What units remain are just being overwhelmed. Now the chosen Ura are being thrown into the ranks. Whilst the Hunnic cavalry engages Thracian Oathsworn. At this point I wasn't really bothered. Like, if you see my main force is over here, I mean, like, a good portion of it's here. But I'm just really trying to flank round. And you see I just take my time picking the Sarrinid forces. And yeah, you can sort of see what I'm doing. See how these elite immortals, like, he's just mass moving. And all I can do is just pick and weave. Of course you hit Sagan warriors, king strategists, they're lightly armored. But you see, I do something quite clever here. I divide up. I mean, like, yeah, a few units do get hit on the angle, but they move through. And you just see, oh, just drive-by, Hunnic drive-by. We also have a few more engagements going on down here. Some Germanic noble lances and Gothic horsemen engage with elephant support. Obviously, with the elephants, they will tip over the Huns, but over here, the Huns have found a breakthrough, easily crushing a Germanic crossbowman. Without the protection of their cavalry, the main rank falters, but these Thracian Oathsworn ain't done yet. Even against the mighty elite Garesi of the Saxons, they will put up a fight. But the Saxon troops in the rear, oh, these javelin boys, they should have been concentrating on the elephants. You see, he holds back the elephants, which is not the best move, because he could have hit my Hunnic reinforcement contingents, which, although may look small, are actually helping in the combat quite a bit. Like, they use their arm. So few start retreating. But you see here, I'm slowly starting to gain dominance. My tired chosen Ura committing themselves to the fight against these elephants. They're not going to do much, but they will try, and you just see the effectiveness of one elephant piled through 2 units. How many kills does this elephant unit have under its belt? This one has 83. Let's look at this one. This one has 9. Why is that, King? Let's have a look at their positioning. As you can see, they're fighting in melee combat. This is where they just get overwhelmed by the Saxons. They just get overwhelmed by the sheer number of javelins and that flying in, and because they can't use that charge of theirs, they're pretty much pointless. So you see my battle is a bit more fluent than the Saxons and the Visigoths. The Sarrinids aren't really supporting, and you see my cavalry assault did kind of stop due to the whole elephant thing. And plus a few Germanic spearmasters through in the back. So what remains of my forces are either over here or committed to the main fight. As you see, my general is helping out, just really trying to help out break past these damn Germanic noble horsemen and spearmen, but you see just these large wings of Hunnic cav, the Huns' famed tactic. You can see the battle slowly turning in my favor. In fact, the Visigoth guy, I think he left. Oh, yeah, it was the Visigoth guy. He left like halfway through. That's why his forces aren't moving as fluently, because the AI controls them. But you can see these Thracian Oathsworn just putting up one hell of a fight. Like, let's just admire the bravery and skill that belongs to the Thracians. If I could actually, like, it's the most annoying thing. There we go. Like, let's watch this. Oh, he was beheaded. And he was beheaded. He's not. Okay, let's watch him. Oh, yeah. Didn't even need to look at him. As you can see, these Thracians, they're not leaving. Like, I know it's not on the job description to live, but they are certainly worth. Like, all they have left is cavalry in that, and now the Sagians are being committed against the Huns. Huns who are quite well, the Huns are tired at this point, but there are plenty of them just standing around doing nothing. Hunnic warriors are willingly committing themselves to the flanks, where they are fighting against the Sagian warriors. And these Huns, they will rip to shreds the lightly armored warriors with their skill. Meanwhile, my ally did sort of block up, but whatever. Like, I do have some commando units of Huns. Well, Ura. Just sort of like wandering around in the back, aiming at these skirmisher units, preventing them from adding their fire into the battle. Because if these guys did concentrate on the gaps we're breaking through here, we would be dead. The Saxons did make an interesting choice, however, by performing this whole shield wall. It kept the cavalry situation under control, though, so it was a worthwhile move. You see here, however, the Sagians and Immortal Cavalry easily beating back the Avar, what remains of the Hunnic forces. Me pulling back, just regrouping and re-preparing. Over here, I sort of like just really started to waste arrows on this elite Immortal unit. Like, they're well armored. They got big shields, which are kind of annoying, but you can't point in every direction. Now here's a good moment. The two Avar hit first, and then the general. He walks in. So yeah, most of my cavalry forces have been expended, but they were tired from fighting the Sagians everywhere. And then I sort of ran them in a bit early. Maybe I should have kept them in reserve to help with the cleanup. The war elephants were kind of misused in this battle. They should have been moved around the flanks, so could have easily crushed those spearmen. We all know it. If the other person, the Visigoth, did not leave, maybe they would stand a better chance. But you see, the Eastern player, or the Sarrinid even, he was fighting to the bitter end. Like, the Saxons maintain a much bigger portion of their force because of the melee grind. Like, I think they had better infantry, but I might be wrong to say that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. See the Huns here, the Nordics, Steppe Cataphracts? Yeah, still had one unit of these guys left. They're so cool. We got arrows and lances. Pretty cool. So you see here some Nordics being committed to fights, whilst other Huns just really start racking up the kills. Like, this is a sport for them. Like, these poor guys just can't stand up against the Huns. You see the Hunnic cavalry wing reforming a remnants of its glory, whilst the Saxons clear up the rest of the mess, which is caused by these elephants. Let's look at how many kills these ones got. Yeah, these guys racked up a much more impressive kill count. And let's see what this unit of Urar got. Nice work, guys. Guess who's getting a paycheck? So yeah, a bloody battle was fought on these plains, and the Saxons emerged victorious. Bloodied, sweated, but not broken, unlike the Visigoths. I mean, like, they were in Africa, but I don't know what the hell the Saxons are. With this size of army, you can't really make an excuse about raiding. But I think it might be the Sarrinids that left. So it was a horrific victory. The last of the enemy forces retreated. But now we see the kill count. So I lost a lot of my men, which is quite sad. But you see, just from my kills, from the Ura, the Norix, the Steppe Cataphracts, that I got a lot. In comparison to the Saxons, who, I mean, like, yeah, their cavalry got a lot of kills, and so did their skirmishers, and wow, even the Nordic axemen got a few. But on average, they didn't really get much in comparison. Like, my lowest unit here, by the looks of things, is a 22? Yeah, no, a 10. We have a 10. We have a 10! You are a disappointment. You only killed 10 men. But whatever. So 10 against their lowest, which was 0. How's that even possible, guys? You were in the middle of the grind. But anyway, next we have the enemy army. As you can see, they had a nice unit composition. We have elite Immortals, Sagians, lots of cavalry, which was quite unnecessary, but better against our cab. One unit of elephants retrieving that massive effectiveness. Well, maybe a few more down here, but the others really put to misuse. The Visigoths did not get that many kills, but with their cavalry, they did get a good amount. So I'll see you next time. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and all that jazz.